Hi, everyone. See people hopping on here. Hi there. Just keeping an eye on everybody. I have a decent amount of people signed up for our call. Sometimes people don't always come. They like to get the recording as well. So just bear with me if you see me looking a little distracted while I let people in just to get started. So thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Heather, and I am the User Success and Digital Learning Manager here at CheddarUp. And this is what we're calling a feature focus learning session. So if you're looking to get general information about CheddarUp, I'll do a little bit of that, but I'm really going to kind of hone in on one of our new features here. It's all about running an Athon, right? So an Athon is an activity-based fundraiser where you gather pledges for people that are participating in these activities. Often you see these done at schools or potentially with different teams, and then activities are recorded with pledges then dedicated to that activity. And then from there, those pledges can convert into collecting money into a big fundraiser. So I'm glad that you guys are all here. We're not a huge group right now. So again, I always want to make sure that I'm making the best use of everybody's time. So typically what I like to do in these type of conversations is I'm going to pull up our CheddarUp dashboard in a minute. I will just do a quick run through of the general dashboard just to kind of familiarize everybody with how our dashboard works. And then we'll go a little bit more in depth into the Athon feature. I'll show you a fundraiser that's set up as an Athon, and then we'll kind of walk through the components of it. And then from there, I'll go back into our builder and I'll show you how we actually build one of these fundraisers, an Athon fundraiser. And then finally, we'll look a little bit at what happens when the fundraiser is out there, how you start to track those pledges, track the activities that people are doing. And I'm just here to answer questions too. So feel free definitely to go ahead, unmute yourself, put things into the chat if you prefer. But really, I just want to make sure you guys get the best use of your time today. So, and this is my first time going over our Athons feature. So, like I said, it's a relatively new feature. So bear with me if I miss something or you want me to clarify something. I'm always fine tuning how I present these types of features as well. So I'm just glad you guys are here. So if there's anything else you want me to cover, let me know. And like I mentioned before, if you are signed up to just learn a little bit about us and how you do a general collection, I'm not going into that today. I am going to primarily focus on our Athons feature. So you might want to sign up as well for another learning session where you see it's just called a general CheddarUp walkthrough or getting to know the basics. So today we will be primarily focused on Athons. Okay, let me go ahead. I'm going to share our screen here. We're going to go here. Okay, great. Everybody good? Can you all see everything? And go ahead, you can give me a thumbs up in your window or something like that. It helps me to get a little bit of interaction from everybody. I do appreciate that. So awesome. Thanks, Regina. Okay, cool. Jackie as well. Thank you. Okay, great. So here we are. Oh, like I said, bear with me. I'm going to stop and let people in as they jump on here. So here we are. I am logged in right now to the CheddarUp dashboard. I'm logged in as an organizer. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with using CheddarUp for other types of collections or not. And so that's why I do like to just start kind of in our primary dashboard view so you can see all the different ways that CheddarUp can be used. So that is one of the nice things about CheddarUp. We're a very flexible platform where you can use us to gather money, you can use us to gather information, you can do both, you can do one or the other, you can run fundraisers with us as well. We have this great peer-to-peer fundraiser builder. Today I'm going to talk specifically about Athons, but there are 3 different types of peer-to-peer fundraisers you can run with us. So you could do a flat donations fundraiser. You could do an item sales peer-to-peer, and then now we have this Athons feature as well. And so at the end of the day, when you're using CheddarUp, if you're an organizer or a collector, you're the person whose job it is to put together these web pages, right, that then go out to the public. And so here, when you're logged in, this is the primary view you're going to get. It doesn't matter what type of organization you are. It doesn't matter what type of collection or fundraiser you're going to run when you use CheddarUp. You always have access to everything within the platform. Couple of other things to note. We do have 3 different subscription plans. So when you get started with CheddarUp, you're automatically on the basic plan. You can run an Athon fundraiser using just our free subscription plan. You do not need to upgrade. There's plenty you can do there. However, if you get a little bit more advanced with CheddarUp and you have some features that you really would like to grab onto when when you've been using us for a while, you may play around with some of our pro or team features. So I right now am logged into CheddarUp on our team subscription plan. So I do have access to everything. But again, if you're getting started and you just want to run a basic Athon fundraiser, you don't need that. You won't need our pro or team subscription plan. You can do a lot just on the free basic plan. Couple things to note though, because I am on the team, if you were logged in and you were on the basic, on the free subscription plan, and you might see a feature that you want to access. You can still play around with any of our upgraded features, but you will see a little star next to them, and then you'll see the word paid. So the nice thing is you can play around with any of those features. If you use one on one of your fundraisers or collections, before you publish it, you will need to go ahead and upgrade. But the nice thing is you can play around with those features prior to actually publishing. If it's not a feature you don't want to use after you played with it, you can just go ahead and remove it. And again, there's plenty of features here that you don't even necessarily need to access or worry about when you're using us on the basic plan and if you're just running a basic Athon fundraiser as well. Couple things to note when you're logged in as an organizer, right? So again, this is always going to look the same no matter what type of collection or fundraiser you're running with CheddarUp. You're going to see the same thing every time you're here. So a couple of things to note, a little bit of navigation. When you're using us, if you need to get back to this primary dashboard page, you're going to click on the word that says collections. That's going to bring you back to this view that you see right now. If you click on CheddarUp, that's going to lead you actually to our external website. We do have a really nice template library that you can use with CheddarUp. So you can, anytime you're trying to create a collection, if you need a little bit of inspiration, you can use that template library. Within our template library, you can also sort by free collections or features that are all free, or you can go a little more advanced if you want. And then finally here, you do have your help and inspiration. The big thing I always like to point out here is how you get over to our Knowledge Center. So if you are stuck or confused on anything, you'll want to click on that Knowledge Center and it's going to bring you here to our Knowledge Center. Okay, a couple other things to note. On the far left-hand side, when I'm logged into CheddarUp, I can do a couple of things. If I want to add managers, I can. Now, that is an upgraded subscription feature, but if you have multiple people within your organization that you also want to have help you with different collections, this is something if you've really been dedicated to CheddarUp and you're using us all year round for all your money collecting, for all your different fundraisers, you might choose to add on a few more people. You can do that. Those are what we're going to call managers. You may choose to use CheddarUp for a group page. This is a really nice feature too. It allows you to create an external website for your organization. You can show sponsors on it. You can put multiple links and collections on it if you want to. I'm not going to go super in depth on that today just because, like I said, we're going to primarily focus on Athons. Last thing to note is our reporting features. So we do have a lot of really great reports. I'm going to show you one that's available on all collections that you do, whether you do a peer-to-peer fundraiser, any type of collection. It's going to be a nice spreadsheet that I'm going to show you. It's going to be a fundraiser report. But we do also have a really nice reporting feature set. And so depending on which subscription plan you're on, you get different kind of features there. But the basic plan does have a lot of really great reporting features just to get started. Okay, so we've looked at a kind of our primary dashboard here. The only other thing I like to point out, let me just close that. The only other thing I like to point out is I do have all these folders. So again, I mentioned that CheddarUp is a really flexible platform. You can use us for gathering money. You can use us for gathering information. You can do one or the other. We have a general collection builder that's going to create a single URL or a single web page that you can drive multiple people to. And then today we're going to talk about our peer-to-peer fundraiser builder and specifically about Athons. Now, the big thing to understand when you create a peer-to-peer fundraiser or you do an Athon one, that's a type of peer-to-peer fundraiser, you're going to create multiple participant pages. So you're going to have more links or URLs than you would on a general collection. A peer-to-peer fundraiser, and when we set up this Athon fundraiser, you will have multiple participants, and each one of those participants can have their own unique link as well. So let me show you an example of that. Okay, everybody good? You can all see my screen. I just switched over to a public facing page, right? So I just want to switch the view. Before we were looking at what it looks like to be an organizer or a fundraiser who's setting up a fundraiser. Now we're going to look at what a published fundraiser looks like to the general public when you're running an Athon fundraiser. I'm going to go back to the builder in a little bit and I'll show you how to build all of this. But the first thing I want to do right now is talk about some of the components here. Again, if you guys have questions, feel free to unmute yourself. I'll just keep an eye on chat as well, just in case you guys need me to clarify anything. Okay, so here I am. I'm now in an Athon fundraiser. I'm looking at it like your general public would see this fundraiser. And let's talk about the components of it. This one I set up for a readathon. Again, an Athon peer-to-peer fundraiser is when you want to track any type of activity. So this could be a run-a-thon. It could be a hit-a-thon, right? Maybe for baseball or something like that. At the end of the day, you in your mind as the organizer, you know that you're going to do some sort of activity and you want to track that activity with multiple participants. Other thing that's nice to think about with an Athon is you are gaining pledges. Pledges happen before the event. Then the individuals that are your participants go and take part in the activity. Then those activities get recorded. And then the pledges, then you go ahead and gather the money on the pledges based on how many of the activity that individual in your Athon fundraiser completed. So here again, let's take a look. We've got on a peer-to-peer and an Athon fundraiser, you can do a lot of the same things. Peer-to-peer, again, I mentioned, you can do a flat donations and item sales or run an Athon. Your pages will look very similar to this no matter what type of peer-to-peer fundraiser you do with us. Here you get a banner image. So this is a general page, and then we're going to have participant pages. I'll show you both. This is your general page. You can add a banner image here. You can add a video if you want. You then can display, obviously, the name of your fundraiser. You can show how much money has been raised thus far, and you can show a goal. Now, we will display the money that has been collected if somebody gives you a donation, but we don't currently display the pledges here. So pledges come down a little bit lower, right? So this is actual money collected that you're seeing. This is a little button. This is the call to action button. You can decide whether or not you want to display this button, and you can also decide what you want the call to action to say. So this is a toggle on our settings I'm going to show you in a little bit. So these are all the ways you customize your Athon or your peer-to-peer fundraiser with us. Now here's your text. We're going to have details, donors, and participants, okay? Details is the component of your fundraiser that you want to share with others so they know what this Athon is about. They want to know how you're tracking progress, right? And that's what you're going to do in the details section of your Athon fundraiser. You can add start and end dates. Typically, Athons do have a start and an end date. Sometimes it might be longer. This is a summer readathon. Other times you might be doing a run-a-thon and it might all happen in a single day, right? But either way, people sometimes want to know when these activities are going to start, when they're going to end, and when the fundraiser is going to be running. Couple of things to note here. On the right-hand side, you're choosing what you want to display and not display. You can decide when you have participants, are you going to let them register from your general page, or would you prefer them to just register off an email? I'll show you both of those. Here, this is your donor page and your donor feed. You can choose if you want this to display or not, right? I have it turned on. I think it's nice when these people are submitting information that you can see what they're pledging and, some of their nice notes and things like that. You can choose whether or not you want to have a participant leaderboard. So these are the individuals that are actually doing the fundraising on behalf of your organization. If you're a school, it's the kids, right? Maybe if you're a team, it's the teammates, it's the athletes, but you choose whether or not you want this participant leaderboard to display or not. You can even get down to, do you want their full name to display? Do you only want an initial to display? So it's really up to you. Okay, then you have your donors. These are your donors. These are the individuals that start to submit money or to pledge on behalf of a participant. We can show those individuals here. You can show their comments and things that they're saying. And then let's look at a participant list, okay? So this is your participant list. These are the individuals that have been invited to the fundraiser. You can decide how much they build on a participant page or not. Let me show you an example participant page. So again, when you're doing a peer-to-peer fundraiser, the big thing to always remember is that you are building not only a single web link that's at the organization level, but you are also creating multiple participant pages for every one of your fundraiser participants to have their own unique personalized page, their own unique personal URL, and they can then share it with their own network, right? So you're kind of creating that network effect when it comes to this fundraiser, because each of these individual participants is motivated to share with their network, with their friends and family. So here's a participant page, and you again get to choose how much you want the participant to customize this page or not. You can choose whether or not you want to show an image here, a little profile pic. You can choose whether or not you want them to upload an image or even a video. If you don't think they're going to do all of that, you might not want to turn all of this on, right? It's up to you. Here you can choose if these details show or not. You can choose whether or not they can put their own little personal statement or not. Again, this is the same button that we had on the general page. You can choose whether or not you want to display it on a participant page or not. And then you're really fine tuning whether or not you want their donors to display or not either. So all of this are the components of a participant page, which I will go ahead and show you guys in a minute as well. Are there any questions on what an Athon fundraiser looks like to your general public, to your donors, or to your payers? I want to jump back over to the organizer view, but I did just want to stop and see if you have questions, clarifications, things you want to know more about. Got it. So no questions just yet. Seems like everyone's doing okay. Okay, great. So let's go back to the organizer view, right? We've seen the participant pages, we've seen the general page. Now let's jump back over here. Okay, so couple things to note. When you're going to build a peer-to-peer Athon fundraiser with CheddarUp, the nice thing is CheddarUp always operates the same way. You always come up here to our Create a Collection button. Now, if you were to create a general collection where you just are creating a single URL and people are going to submit money onto that, that's our general all-in-one collection builder. You come over here. If instead you're doing a fundraiser, you're going to think about what type of fundraiser you're going to create. So you're going to click on that select fundraiser. And again, this is the nice thing about CheddarUp. We don't only just do Athons, we do any type of collection that you want to gather money for, any type of peer-to-peer fundraiser that you want to do. So you have a very large amount of flexibility when you use CheddarUp. But if you just want to dial in and use this for one specific use, you can do that pretty nicely as well here. Okay, so here I am. I'm on the choose from a classic or a peer-to-peer fundraiser. I would come over here to select peer-to-peer type. If you still are trying to understand everything, we have a lot of little explainers to help you understand what is peer-to-peer fundraising. And then here are your three different types of peer-to-peer fundraisers you can create with Cheddar Up. You can do flat donations. That's multiple participants and they're just asking for money. You can do product sales. Maybe you're going to have a plant sale and you want all the individual participants, the students or the teammate or the athletes to sell wreaths or to sell poinsettias or to sell flowers in the spring, right? Or you can pick this activity-based one. This is going to be where you're recording an activity and you're gathering pledges based on how many of an activity people can complete. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. You would click on Get Started here and it would help, it would build it for you from scratch. Because I'm running you guys through a demo and I don't have as much time, I have a copy of that fundraiser in draft format. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to Edit. You would start from our builder, okay? Either way, the builder, once you create a from scratch Athon fundraiser, you're going to see this same builder view. Okay. So a couple of things to note. If I want to go back to my primary organization view, I'm going to go back here and click on the word collections. Once I go to set up an Athon fundraiser, I get put into this builder page and I have 4 steps that I'm going to work my way through. You basically just follow these steps in order. You use the continue button. It will move you through each step in the builder. If you need to go back, you can jump around. It's fine. But I like to tell people the first time you're building one of these with us to just stay and follow the path all the way through. And then if you need to go back and edit, you can do that. Now, you'll note a couple of things here on the top right. Participants, there's no participants yet. We're going to add those in a little bit. I can't click on this page yet because I haven't uploaded the people that I want to participate, okay? Same thing with manage. Your manage view comes into play when people have actually submitted money, pledges, information into your Athon fundraiser or a general collection. I can't get to manage until I publish, all right? So these are going to become available to us in a little bit. Okay, so let's look at the details section of your peer-to-peer Athon fundraiser. So here I am, I'm on my banner image. This is that primary top image I showed you. You can add multiple images here. You can add a video as well if you want. You'll give your fundraiser a title. Okay, so make sure it makes sense for whatever it is you're doing. If it's an Athon, you probably want to use Athon in the name, right? But you're the one that's choosing that name. Here you're letting people know how the fundraiser operates. So a lot of times when people do Athon fundraisers and when groups do Athon fundraisers, excuse me, I'm just letting someone in. A lot of times when people do Athon fundraisers, one thing they do have kind of on the back end in their mind already is what the motivating prizes might be. So you may want to think about your school, maybe your team, and if these kids or these athletes are all helping to fundraise on behalf of your organization, what are the ways you're going to motivate them? Now, within Cheddar Up, we don't set up a whole bunch of prizes and things like that for you. But you may want to think a little bit about that. And so here's an example of like a flyer that I built in Canva. Let me show it to you here. Well, no, I think this is a little better view. I'll do this. If you guys can't see this, let me know. But here's an example of a way that you might want to motivate some of your kiddos that are doing a readathon or something like that. Depending on how much money they raise, you may decide that you're going to give them different rewards, right? The more money they raise, the more rewards they can get. You're thinking a little bit about what are some of those rewards that are not too complicated for you to deal with within your organization. Sometimes kids love, especially if you're doing elementary school. I'm a former elementary school teacher. It's crazy what they'll do to have a date with the principal or a date with a teacher, right? I used to see one where they would make it a little bit more exciting. We were at a school where we had a flat roof, and so they would actually do lunch on top of the roof with the principal. But thinking about ways to make things a little bit more clever or unique to your organization. But these are some examples of prizes that you might put into play to motivate the students, the kids, to be excited about this event, right? Let me close that. Okay, so now we'll go back to our builder because when you are thinking about that builder and what you're going to put into play, sometimes those prizes, it's helpful to have some of those picked out ahead of time. Here, if you were to use a prize similar to like what I just did in Canva, you could just have a link here and people could click on it and they could see what prizes they're going to get. The kids like to see a lot of this stuff too. You'll put your date and time on your fundraiser as well, like we showed before. You choose if you're going to put a fundraising goal in or not and what that fundraising goal is going to be. That was that bottom number. Hey, we're trying to raise 10,000. We're trying to raise 15. We're just trying to raise 1,000, right? It's really up to you. You don't have to do a giant athon that's across an entire school. Maybe you're just a small team, a sports team. It's just the swim team or something. You can do athons just for smaller groups too. If you want to show that total amount raised, that was where I was showing you that number that will start to go up. You toggle this on or off. So you're the one kind of determining what settings and how complex you want your fundraiser to look to the public. Boost engagement. Do you want that pledge and donor feed on or off? It's up to you. Leaderboard. Do you want a participant leaderboard? Do you want to break your participants up into teams? If you're going to do an entire school, maybe you're going to do teams by grade level, maybe by teacher name, right? So you really have a lot of flexibility in how you build this fundraiser. If you want to make a set of teams, you can do that. And if you want to just do individual participants, you can do that too. If you don't even want to show a leaderboard, you would just toggle this off. So it's really up to you on what you want to display and not display. Call to action. Remember I showed you that cute little circular button? You can decide if you want it on or off. And then you can decide what the words are going to say wrapped around the little button. And then finally, I didn't have this turned on my sample fundraiser, but you might want to turn on an FAQ section. This is going to allow you to create a series of frequently asked questions that you know people ask. If you've done a fundraiser before like this and you know you've got the same 5 people that always ask the same 5 questions, I like to tell people turn your FAQ on and try to anticipate those ahead of time. Okay, I'm just going to check and see if anyone has any questions. Go ahead and unmute if you need to as well. I'm just keeping an eye on chat for us. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit continue and it's going to move me to the next section. Okay, now you're setting up your peer-to-peer options. This has everything to do with the participants, okay? You got to think a little bit about how you're going to get these participants on your fundraiser. You'll think a little bit about what's the best way to engage them. So, couple different ways you can engage them, right? I recommend just turning this on. This is if you want a public registration page link on your external fundraiser. You can invite people by email. That's something I'm going to walk you through. But also if somebody can't find their email, if they just want to go and register themselves anyways, you can turn this link on and people can then register off of a link on your general page and off of the email that you send to them. So I think it's a helpful way to get people to, if they don't have that email, they can still register themselves. Okay, now your participant fundraising page. What do you want that to look like? Are you going to let them change their name that you type in to get started, or is it going to be something that they can't change? Do you want to give them a little bit of privacy and only do first name and last initial? Do you want to allow them to upload their image or video? That was on the far right-hand side. If you are a little concerned that your pages are going to look empty if they don't actually upload those things, maybe you don't turn that one on, right? Do you want to allow them to include a short little note? Yes or not? Do you want to customize the text that gets into their short little note? Maybe you want to just give some suggested text there. You can do that or not. And then finally, are you going to show a leaderboard on the participants page as well as on the general donation page? That's up to you. You can choose yes or no. Then you get to the spot where this is specifically for an Athon. Everything I just covered before, a lot of that is in our regular peer-to-peer fundraiser builder as well. But now you're at the Athon part because you have to decide your participant activity setting here. So basically, remember, people are going to make pledges. Pledges are going to be based off of an activity, and you're going to want to give those people that are your participants a certain amount of time to enter in the activity. Now, you can also enter in the activity for them. So it's really up to you on how much time you want to pass after the event has taken place and how much time you want to give them to enter in activities. So it's up to you. You could have a certain amount of time, or you could say they don't get to enter them because you're just going to manage it yourself. Okay. You're going to set this though. And then finally, display a fundraising goal on participant fundraising pages. Now you have the general goal for the whole organization, but do you want to set a separate goal for each participant? Maybe you want each kid to try to raise 100, 200, 500. It's up to you, right? Whatever you think is achievable for your organization. On this setting though, you choose. Do you want to let them set their own goal? Do you want to give everybody the same goal, or do you want to relieve a little bit of the pressure on the individual participant and not set a fundraising goal on the individual participant page? It's up to you. Okay, so these again are all the settings that you're creating for those participant pages, okay? Anybody have any questions here on the participant pages? Looks like we're doing okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and hit continue then. And now it's going to run me to our pledge and donation options. Okay. So now here, you remember this is an activity-based fundraiser. So you do need to think about what's your unit of activity. Okay. Pledges are not charged until after you've confirmed the participants' completed activity, and you'll be the one, the organizer, that can go in and charge your individual donors. If you want to do a flat donation, you can ask people to just give money as well. And if you just want to do a complete flat donation peer-to-peer fundraiser, you would just set that up as a flat donation fundraiser. The nice thing is though, on an Athon fundraiser, if you do want to give people an opportunity to not deal with pledges and just give you money directly, they can do that here too. Okay, here's your activity units. You decide, is it steps? Is it laps, books, miles, hours, whatever, right? We have a series of options that you can pick from, but you can also put your own custom option in here as well. Now, remember I just said, do you want to let people just make a flat donation to a participant instead of not having to actual pledge and wait for the activity to complete? You can turn that on or off. That's up to you. Do you want to let your donors do that or not? Allow general donations to an organization. Sometimes somebody might hear about the fundraiser and they want to donate, but they actually don't know any of the participants. So maybe you want to put a spot on the general donation page that people can just contribute to the general fundraiser and they don't have to worry so much about picking an individual participant. You can turn that on or off. You can suggest preset donation amounts. If you want to give people a suggestion of 25, 50, whatever, you can do that as well. That would be on the donation amounts. And then finally, once in a while, you might want to ask a question or two. You know, one thing you could do, you could be running an Athon fundraiser and maybe trying to get business sponsors at the same time. If you're trying to attract business sponsors, you would probably allow general donations, get them to just say, hey, will you just contribute to this? You don't need to pick a kid, but we'd love to see you guys support us. And in that, you might ask a couple of questions of those businesses if you need to gather a little information. So that's one of the nice things about Cheddar Up. You can gather money with us or you can gather information. If we were on one of our general collection builders, I'd show you even how you can just do signups and registration forms separate. But today we're just talking about Athons, right? Last thing, we are going to gather for you first and last name and email of the individual people that submit money to you. If you want to, and we'll send them an email after it all is completed. If you want to customize receipts, you can turn this on or off and you can say something special within that email that gets sent to people. Okay, any questions up to here? We're going to keep on moving because we're going to get to settings then. Okay, so now we're getting really close to publishing this peer-to-peer fundraiser, and then I'm going to show you how you add on participants. Before you publish, you always get to the settings page. So you determine credit cards are automatically going to be used in this instance where you can gather pledges and then charge them later. You can decide if you want to offer an e-check option or not. We don't have cash set up on these types of fundraisers just because it gets a little complicated, but you could actually manually enter one if you absolutely wanted to. We do recommend that you update what is going to display on the credit card transaction. So right now it automatically says Cheddar Up, but you might want to put, you know, your high school, your team, Panorama, Bruins, soccer, something like that. And then currently fees do go automatically to the donor. That is something that they'll see when they go to check out. If you wanted to actually take those fees on yourself instead, you can cover all or some of them. You just toggle this on or off. So that's up to you. Okay, so now we've gone through that whole builder. When we're ready to
Can I ask
publish,
a question before we move on?
yeah, you scared me. I wasn't ready for anyone to
Sorry.
talk. I'm so glad you did. Go ahead. Yeah.
So back on the taking payments,
Hmm.
so on Athons that we've run, our schools run before, we've given people the online option, but there's still a lot of people that prefer like to send in cash or checks, so we do a donor sheet for them too. So
Okay.
there isn't a way that we could then enter that to show that like, hey, this kid got $100 in cash?
You can do it. Let me show you on a different collection. I'm pretty sure you can do what we call a manual order. So
Hmm.
let me look on this one. Yeah. So here, if you wanted to record a donation, you could come here and record a donation.
Okay.
And then you could just enter the amount. It would be an offline donation. So
Yep.
when the donor comes to when they come to the URL and to the link, there's not going to be a spot like we do have in Cheddar Up. You can often have a button that says cash or check
Yeah,
and they can
yes.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that either. But yeah, to show that like, hey, this grandparent donated $100, and so that kid can say like, yeah, I've got $100 on my page.
Yes. So here is where you would do it. You would do it on
Okay.
record donation. You just wouldn't have a setting to turn on or off on the setup.
Yes. Okay.
That
Thank you
makes
so much.
sense? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I think we were just about ready to publish this one. Okay, so this one's ready to go. Once we publish, your link is created and then we add our participants. So I'm going to go ahead and publish here. Okay, so now you technically have an Athon fundraiser, but you don't have any participants added to it yet. This is where you can come back though. You can get your share page, you can get your general link. This is your general link, right? This is the primary one, not the individual participants link. You can add this onto a website. You can get a QR code, text to pay. You can use all those same features, okay? Now let's move to the add participants. Okay, so here we are in our add participants section. Again, I had mentioned before, if you want to let people self-register, you do have this link. You can copy the link. We toggled the self-registration on, so a participant could go to that link and then register themselves. The other thing you can do though is you can invite them via email. So there's all different ways you can invite them. You can copy and paste. You can take your contacts. You can add them manually. I'm going to upload a file. That's the quickest way for me to do it. You would need a CSV file with their name and their email address. I do recommend if you're doing this for kids under the age of 13 that you're actually sending this to the parent, not to the kid, right? Oh, give me 1 second here because I got to add in my file. Okay, so I add my file. I can see everything that was in the file, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit Save Participant List. Did I click on that? Yeah. Okay, so that's going to preload your participants. Okay, now each one of these, when you add them in this way, we do build a participant page for them in the background, okay? But nothing's been personalized just yet. So from this spot, as long as you want them to personalize their page with those different images and get an email with an invitation, you're going to want to go ahead and send them an invite, okay? You can do it in bulk if you want as well. I'm just going to send a couple here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit send invite. Otherwise, I'm going to have a ton in my inbox. You can kind of see what it starts to look like now, right? These people have been invited. These other participants have not been invited yet. I can start to see their donations. I can start to see completed activities. We can edit those as well. You can archive participants if you need to. And you could set up your teams here as well. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to check my email and make sure this came through. Yeah, okay. So, okay, I'm in my email now, and I'm going to come here so I can see what it looks like to a participant. This is what a participant's going to get. The person's name, you're invited to participate. They get these 3 steps that they're told to do. They can visit the main page. They can contact the organizer that's on this as well. And then from here, they can build their participant page. So I'm just going to go to the last one. These are all 4 of those that I just sent, okay? Now I'm a participant. All right, so this is a new view that we're going to look at. On the participant page, this is where they can customize everything. So 1 second here. I've got a lot of bandwidth going in my house in the summer. I don't know if you guys are like that right now, but too many kids home. Okay, so this is our participant page that can now be customized by that individual, by that student, child, teammate, whatever you want to do. Remember, you put the settings on and off for these. This is where they can put their image in. This is where they can add their video or other image, right? This is where you said, yes, they can edit their name. So that's why my pages are editable here right now. This information is. This is where I can put my personal story, okay? My personal message. This is the goal. This is where I can track my own individual books completed if you want me to. There's a spot on that participant page. If you don't want them to be allowed to do that, you don't turn that on. And then finally, this is where they can their own page and reach as well. I'm not going to go through all this because you guys saw what it already looked like completed, but I just wanted to show you the flow from when a participant gets an email to how they actually finalize the page. Okay? Everybody feeling okay with all this? Oh, darn it. What did I just click on? Sorry. Okay. So we're back over at the organizer view now. And I want to show you a couple other things. So I want to go back over. So if you have questions, let me know because I want to show you how the whole thing gets set up. And now I'm going to actually jump back over to my other Athon fundraiser that has a manage view on it. So you can see what things start to look like after it's been out there for a little bit. So does anybody have any questions thus far on setting everything up and how it all works?
I have a couple. Sorry to be question
No, I'm glad
person.
you're asking. It's great.
Um, so as like the PTO president, I don't get the emails of every parent, right? Only people that join. So is can I upload all the kids and then the parents then self-select like from the main fundraiser page to find their kid and get that link? So I can tell everyone like, hey, go to the main page, search your kid's name, and then that will be their page. Obviously, they won't be able to personalize it, but are they able to find that link still? That's something that like, not to compare, but like, I know this is new for you guys. We've used CheddarUp for every other money collecting things, but I've used
Got it.
99 pledges for like our Athon. And
Got it.
so I was like, that's something that 99 pledges allows me to do because I don't have everyone's email to let them like personalize it.
So there may be a couple different ways you might want to handle that. Do you still want it to be per individual kid though?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
So
got it.
like each kid has their own link. It's normally like the main fundraisers page and then slash that kid's name, right? Is normally what the link is.
Right, right. So if you just allow the share registration link, they can go ahead and self-register a kid. The one thing you won't have on our end right now, but I love this feedback, so I'm really glad that you're unmuting and just talking to us because we just want to hear from users right now.
Right.
The one thing you won't have on your back end is the list of the child.
Yeah.
You might need it on your own, like on a piece of paper, right? Or on your own
Right.
spreadsheet. You could then have the link be shared. They could go register a kid. You would be able to cross-reference, but you wouldn't see the kid on you wouldn't have the kid uploaded just yet.
So basically, unless someone registers their kid, that page isn't created for them.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And you right now you do need an email to register to do it on the back end on our end. But I can take that feedback that you would like to just have a name be on there without an
Yeah.
email, right?
Yep. That'd be great.
I'm just keeping a few notes on my end because we do, yeah, this is pretty new for us, but we want to make sure it meets your needs, you know. So I appreciate all the
Yeah.
feedback. Um, okay, so that's a good question that I don't have exactly how you're looking for it, not right this moment, but I'll take that feedback directly back to our
Whereas, yeah, like my son plays baseball and the hit-a-thon, like the league has all of our emails because we have to sign up and register, right? So they are able to send us like his personalized link and use 99 pledges. So like, but as the PTO, like I don't get like the school won't give me everyone's emails, unfortunately.
Right, right. Now, the other thing you could do is sometimes you could assign a teacher to a classroom and have that be the email, and maybe the teacher could put it in.
Yeah,
But I understand that then you're creating extra work for other people. So
right.
let me do a little bit more research on my end for you, me. I did for on my end. I do totally understand your question though.
Yeah. And then my other question about setting up, putting in the kids, I saw there was like a tab that said teams, but I didn't see like when you're uploading, can you assign them to a team or do you have to go then manually and like assign each kid to a team?
That's a good question too. I think right now you do manually assign them, but we do have let me look here. I don't know if these have been moved over yet. Let's just say. I'm looking to see. I think we have a bulk select. So you usually should be able to select them relatively easily, but I don't think it's done on the import.
Okay.
So you want to
And
be able
yeah,
to import team and kid's name, no email.
yeah, and I don't remember to be honest on 99 pledges if like on the CVS CVC or whatever it is sheet, like if it's their name and the email if you want, and then team, or if I had to go in and bulk add teams either. But I was
Got it.
just wondering.
Yeah, that's good. It's still good feedback though, because either way, if it saves you a little bit of time on an import, why not throw it on there, right?
Right.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Um, Anything
Thank
else on
you.
the builder? Okay, so let's look at a collection at a readathon with a little bit of money on it, but mostly pledges. Okay. Let me show you guys this. Okay, so after your readathon has gone out into the world, or your any-a-thon, let me show you a couple things that you'll start to see. You'll see your pledges come in, and you'll see your donations. Donations are direct money that people give directly, and pledges are pledges that people are pledging after an activity has passed, right? So if donations come in, those come in up front. You see those right away. Pledges show as uh, the amount per the activity, the max quantity that pledger is willing to pledge up to, and then you still are the one recording the activity, or the child can record it on their own page, however you want to handle that. Pledges don't get charged until you update activities, and then you go ahead and charge them. Okay. So you can add in an activity amount here when you're on your pledges view, and you can also add it in on your participants page. So I can come here and I can show, like here, Tracy, for example, has 5. I can type in the number of books completed. This was what was it called? The value that you assigned here. Okay, so you're going to need to go ahead when the fundraiser is going on. Everybody has to keep their activity updated. All right. Okay, then when you're ready to charge, the pledges pardon me, that's not a good one because I don't have an activity completed yet. So your participant is displaying, your payer is here, your pledge per book is showing, The max quantity, so this guy doesn't want you to charge, this woman doesn't want you to charge her over 25 books, right? This individual, Tracy, completed 5 of these, and then you're going to go ahead and you will charge the pledges at that point. Okay. Once you can charge multiple at once, you can charge one at a time. It's really however you want to manage it. But again, this is after the activity has taken place. That's when you're going to go in and go ahead and charge those pledges. If you just want to do straight donations, you can do that. You just want to do that in another peer-to-peer builder. Okay, I want to stop and I want to show you one more report, but does anybody have any questions on how you would actually start to charge people after the activity has taken place? Okay, the last thing I want to show you after you charge those people, right? This is your manage view. You come back to this a lot during your Athon. Well, it depends. You don't always come back to it a lot. Sometimes when your Athon has completed, you come back, get this all set up, and boom, you just go ahead and submit those charges to all your different individuals. Okay. The last thing you're going to get is we have this nice fundraiser summary. Now, this one doesn't have much on it, so I'm not going to show you guys that one. I have one that I have saved here. But when you're on your manage view and you want to see all this in a nice 360-degree spreadsheet, if you've used CheddarUp in the past, you know we have a nice collection summary. This is going to be very similar to that. So let me show you. Okay, so here is what you are going to see on an Athons fundraiser summary report. And this is your Excel spreadsheet that you'll see. So you'll see the amount of money collected thus far. If you have been, if some people have submitted donations, remember those are just the upfront money that they just want to give you upfront. They're not really interested in getting into the whole pledge scenario. You'll get donations, you'll see those. Once your all purchases go through, so this is when you start to charge people on those pledges or donations, you'll see those. And then here, we will break up your pledges and donations separately. And then you'll have 2 separate tabs as well. One for donations. If you did end up asking any questions on those donations, we had talked about that. You'll see the answers to questions here. And then on your pledges, you'll see your pledges separate on a separate tab, just because we want to make sure we're keeping those 2 things separate, so you kind of know the difference and can manage them differently if you want to. Okay, so you'll see that on your separate tab. That's going to be on your fundraiser summary report that you'll click on once you've got a little bit more money coming into your collection. Okay, so those are kind of everything I like to cover. There's always more, and this is a new feature for us. So we love the feedback right now. We are not, not afraid of the feedback. We want to hear it. We want to get you on it, using it. Tell us what you need. That's really important to us, because we do want to, get in the game on Athons, but we also feel like we've done so many things so well at CheddarUp that this is just one more thing that we want to add, but we also want to make sure we nail it too. So if you need us to tweak things or you have suggestions, please go ahead and share those. A couple other things that I always like to make sure I point out to everybody too on a learning session is check out our Knowledge Center. I showed you that before. That's a great place to go to learn more about our different features and understand how to use them. If you're stuck on something, if you want to talk to us about something immediately, you can click on the help button here. That's going to lead to a chat with us, and it does lead to a real live human being. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then the last thing I do always want to point out too is you can reach us via email as well. I'll throw that into our support right now. Or I'll throw it into our chat, pardon me. The email for us is friendlysupport@cheddarup.com. So those are the best ways to get a hold of us. But again, right now, like I said, this is a newer feature, and we just really do appreciate your feedback, thoughts, ways to make it better, ways to bring it up to par if you see things a little different. But yeah, and I can stay on if you guys have questions or things you want to go over individually or not. But I do really appreciate your time today and hope you learned a little bit more about our new feature. So. Jackie, you said you've used us in other, you've used us with other collections.
Yeah, so this will be my 6th, 7th year being either VP or president at one of my kids' schools. So
Awesome.
I've used them at both, and pretty much since COVID, and we had to force us to go digital.
Nice.
But one of my questions was on most other platforms, like we pay those credit card fees, right? All the processing fees. So I remember you talked about toggling that. So the processing fees, is it like, I know in regular Cheddar Up, depending on what plan you have, there's different like levels of fees. Is that similar for the Athons?
Yeah, it's the exact same. So yeah,
Okay.
none of the fees are, there's nothing different on how our fees operate, just depends on which subscription plan you're on.
Okay.
So,
And then if we choose to have them cover it, the participants cover it, then we would get like, say it says we raised 50,000, we would get that whole 50,000.
yeah, exactly. So like
Okay.
say a person pledges, say at the end of the day, a person's paying $100 on, 20 activities at $5 per activity or whatever. That individual is going to have, they're going to be charged $100, and then they'll also see the 3 point, depending on what plan they're on. Say you might be on team if you've been with us for a long time. So team would be a 3.59%. Let me see, I'll bring it up right here. So they would have that on top of the 100. So you'll still get the flat, you'll still get the 100 straight to you.
Okay. And does it just directly go to our bank account, just like regular Cheddar Up?
It'll go just like regular Cheddar Up. So pardon me, if you were on the team, it'd be 3.59% plus 59 cents. If you are on the regular Cheddar Up, or like we said, it's always the same no matter what you're doing with us in Cheddar Up.
Right.
What you'll see is this balance summary. I'm still sharing, aren't I? I can't remember.
You're not, but
Okay, 1 second. I'll just
I
pull
know
it
what
up.
you're talking about.
Yeah. So here's our balance summary, right? And here your money will start to display. Oh, it's still not sharing. Bear with me, guys. It's right here. Your money will start to display on view balance summary. And then from here, you go ahead and transfer it to your checking account when you're ready. So you do come in and still do the trigger to transfer it. But as long as you already have your checking account on the system, you'll just go ahead and do it from here. Sorry, it's not popping up right now. But it's just like, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I have to run and pick my daughter up, but I appreciate your help and all your questions, answering
No
all my
problem.
questions.
Yeah,
All
thanks
right,
for
thank
joining
you.
us. Anyone else, any other questions or things I can cover for you today? Awesome. Okay, well, it looks like you're good. I see Winter saying just in the chat she's good, so thank you so much. Again, if you guys need anything, just reach out to us on customer support. And I do appreciate you guys joining us today and learning a little bit more about Athons. So hope you're having a lovely summer. And if you're volunteers at schools or things that are off, hope you're also resting a little bit too. Take a little time off for yourself. So great. Thank you so much for joining us, and you guys take care.